Thank you for visiting MIDI-Pang TV. You know, if you or a loved one are navigating the daily realities of Parkinson's disease, you already know that the journey can often feel completely overwhelming. But today, we're going to look toward the horizon of medical science together. Welcome to our overview of a truly groundbreaking 2025 mini-review, which was just published in the World Journal of Biological Chemistry. The paper is titled Stem Cell Therapy for Parkinson's Disease, A New Hope for Neuroregeneration. My goal today is to walk you through this incredibly complex science at a comfortable pace, basically translating all that dense research into clear, practical information. We're going to explore what stem cell therapy actually means for Parkinson's, how it works in the body, and exactly where the science stands right now.
So here's a quick, comforting roadmap of what we're going to cover today. First, hope beyond symptom relief. Second, iPSC key to custom regeneration. Third, possibilities shown in animal studies. Fourth, hurdles before clinical trials. And finally, proper understanding and consultation. Let's dive right in.
All right, part one, hope beyond symptom relief.
To really appreciate why stem cells are such a game changer, we first need to understand what's happening beneath the surface. Parkinson's causes a progressive loss of very specific dopamine-producing neurons. Think of these as the cellular factories that allow for smooth, coordinated movement, located in a region of the brain called the substantia nigra. Now, currently, our standard of care relies heavily on medications like levodopa. And these drugs, they are absolutely vital. They act like a brilliant temporary patch, keeping your remaining dopamine machinery running and providing you with crucial relief from tremors and stiffness. But the catch is, they don't stop the underlying loss of those neurons. Stem cell therapy represents a totally radical shift in how we think about this. Instead of just managing the symptoms day by day, the goal here is to physically rebuild the damaged architecture of the brain, to actually replace the lost neurons and restore that underlying function for the long haul.
Moving on to part two, iPSC, the key to custom regeneration. So if stem cells are the building blocks, where do we actually get them? Well, the big breakthrough bringing realistic, tangible new hope to this field involves human pluripotent stem cells, and specifically a highly unique type called iPSCs. That stands for induced pluripotent stem cells. Basically, think of this as turning back the biological clock. Scientists can literally take a simple sample of a patient's own adult cells, like, say, skin or blood cells, and safely reprogram them right in a lab. By introducing a few specific genes, they instruct these fully mature cells to revert all the way back to an embryonic-like blank slate state. Once they're in that state, these cells have the astonishing ability to become brand new, completely customized dopamine-producing brain cells.
Looking at the traditional classification of stem cells really helps put this into perspective. You've got embryonic stem cells, which are highly versatile but come with immense complexities. Then you have adult stem cells, which are already present in our bodies, but they're pretty limited in what they can actually become. iPSCs act as the perfect bridge between the two. They're derived from the adult, but they're reprogrammed to have the limitless, regenerative potential of those embryonic cells. And this bridge is absolutely crucial because iPSCs really represent the favored path forward for researchers right now. Traditional embryonic stem cells, as you might know, face significant ethical concerns due to embryo destruction. Plus, they carry a real risk of being rejected by a patient's immune system since they come from a totally different genetic source. iPSCs, however, bypass those ethical controversies completely because they're derived directly from you, the patient. And because these cells share your exact DNA, there's a highly reduced risk that your body's immune system will see them as a threat and reject them. It's literally personalized medicine in its purest form.
Okay, part three, possibilities shown in animal studies.
Now, the preclinical evidence we've seen over the last decade has been incredibly exciting, though it is important to gently remind ourselves that these milestones are currently being observed in laboratory animal models. The researchers follow a very meticulous, step-by-step process. First, they simulate Parkinson's in animals, often rodents, by using a specific injection to reduce dopamine on one side of the brain. Second, they take those customized, newly generated dopamine-producing cells we just talked about and transplant them directly into the precise region of the brain that needs them. And over time, as these cells settle in and integrate, the researchers observe something amazing, a complete normalization of movement asymmetry. The animals regained smooth, balanced motor function. And that's because the new cells didn't just survive, they actually went to work, acting exactly like normal, healthy brain cells.
In fact, I want to highlight this direct quote right from the 2025 review. It says, studies have demonstrated that stem cells can differentiate into dopaminergic neurons and restore motor function in animal models. This isn't just a theoretical idea on a whiteboard anymore. It is scientifically validated hope. We now have concrete proof of concept that reversing motor disturbances through customized cellular replacement is biologically possible, and that these transplanted cells can actually survive long-term in the brain. Which brings us to part 4, hurdles before clinical trials.
As inspiring as those animal studies are, we definitely must transparently discuss the rigorous biological challenges that still need to be solved before this becomes a routine human treatment. Researchers outline a few remaining hurdles. First off, the human brain is vastly more complex than a rodent's, so they need to prove long-term efficacy. Basically, will these cells keep working for decades? Second, doctors have to carefully monitor for any unexpected immune responses. Third, the actual reprogramming process that turns back the clock on these cells can sometimes cause genomic instability, which unfortunately carries a risk of tumorigenesis or abnormal tumor growth. And finally, we have to ensure that enough of these incredibly delicate cells physically survive the transplantation process to make a lasting difference. Now, researchers share this not to discourage us, but to show that they aren't rushing a miracle cure. They are meticulously prioritizing your long-term safety.
But here's the immediate reassurance. Scientists are already actively solving these safety issues with some breathtaking technology. To prevent those tumor risks, they're optimizing how they reprogram the cells, moving completely away from older viral methods and towards safer DNA-free strategies. They're even using advanced gene editing tools, like CRISPR, to build in what they call suicide switches. This means that if a cell begins to malfunction or grow abnormally in the lab, a built-in safety switch can be activated to destroy that specific, aberrant cell before it ever gets anywhere near a patient. Honestly, the precision of this safety testing is phenomenal.
And finally, part 5, proper understanding and consultation.
As we wrap up our deep dive today, we really need to talk about how you and your caregivers should interpret this research to protect both your emotional and physical well-being. The absolute most important takeaway is this. Stem cell therapy, particularly with these customized iPSCs, represents a truly revolutionary beacon of hope for the future, but it is not a miracle cure that's widely available today. Patience is absolutely essential here. Keeping your expectations grounded helps prevent heartbreak, while staying informed keeps you empowered and hopeful. Your current medical regimens and therapies remain your best defense right now as the scientific community perfects these incredible new tools.
Which brings me to a really important point, our medical disclaimer. This overview is strictly for educational purposes to help you understand the very latest research. It does not constitute medical advice. Please do not make medical decisions, alter your medications, or pursue any experimental therapies based purely on research overviews like this one. If this science gives you anxieties, brings up new hopes, or sparks treatment questions, I strongly urge you to discuss them directly with your primary neurologist. They are your truest partner on this journey.
So, I want to leave you with this thought to ponder. How will these careful, step-by-step stem cell breakthroughs eventually shape the future of Parkinson's care for you and your loved ones? The path to a cure is quite literally being paved brick by careful brick in labs all around the world right now. Stay hopeful, stay informed, and always lean on your medical team. Thank you once again for trusting Medipang TV as your educational partner. Until next time, take care of yourselves.